conversation is centered around a distinction that gets misunderstood all the time: emotional maturity versus submission readiness. Because a lot of people believe they're ready to enter the structured dynamic when what they actually have is emotional instability dressed up as willingness. And those are not the same thing. Before we begin, this is an educational discussion, as you all know. It is not therapy, diagnosis, or a replacement for professional care. We will be discussing behavioral patterns, emotional regulation, and relational dynamics that may feel familiar or comfortable. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but let's stay honest. Let's get into it. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Serenity. She's going to get grounded for us before we start our zone.
Okay, sorry about that. You can see and hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Before we get started, let's stop to think about where we are mentally, spiritually, and physically. Take a deep breath in, inhale, exhale, relaxing your jaw and your shoulders. And again, inhale and exhale. And let's begin.
Thank you. You always give you all nice and limber. All right, you guys. So let's start here. We're going to set the tone. Are you emotionally mature or just ready to submit?
Yes, that's important because those are not the same thing.
They really aren't, and confusing them creates unstable dynamics. We've seen them.
Because, yeah, definitely. Because submission requires stability, not just willingness.
Gotcha. All right, so let's define the difference between the two. I know you guys might be wondering. Emotional maturity is emotional regulation, self awareness, accountability, stability under stress. Submission readiness, however, is willingness to follow structure, openness to guidance, desire to be led. The issue, however, is this: submission readiness without emotional maturity creates instability because structure does not replace regulation.
Definitely not. So, hello, everyone. Good evening. We're going to go ahead and get into the beloved case studies that we love. So, our case study number one is willing but unstable. A submissive enters a dynamic, eager, consistent, and compliant. But when corrected, they become emotional. They shut down, they personalize feedback. This shows willingness, but not emotional maturity. According to Gottman and Silver in 2015, individuals who lack emotional regulation interpret connection as criticism rather than guidance, which destabilizes relational dynamics.
Mm. And I know we all know somebody like that. And let's be
Definitely.
honest, how do you respond to correction? Do you process it or do you react to it? You can hit us up in the chat or you can raise your hand and take yourself off mute. Look at all these people looking everywhere but at the cameras. All right. I see y'all.
They're ready to get called on, huh?
Nobody got nothing to say. Oh, they starting early.
Let's see.
I'm typing. I just typed so. Dang.
All right. And I see Timothy N adds, I listen. That's good. Listen, that's all we want to get to. That I think everybody want to get to where little baby listen.
Right.
Let's see here. All right. You know what? I'm not gonna pressure nobody on this one because we got a couple good ones coming down the pipeline.
We do.
And and at that point I'm gonna start closing my eyes and pointing at the screen. So
Oh,
let's
Lord. Yeah, duck.
so let's continue.
Uh,
We're actually gonna go a little bit deeper and get into the psychology of it. Emotional maturity is not about being calm all the time. It's about regulation. It's about the ability to experience emotion without being controlled by it. Now, here's where the confusion happens. A lot of people think if I submit, I'll be guided into stability. But that is not how it works. Not at all,
Not at
because
all.
submission does not regulate you, it reveals you. If your emotional system is reactive, structure will not fix that. It will expose it. And again, according to Gross from 1998, emotional regulation is the ability to monitor, evaluate, and modify emotional responses. Without that ability, correction feels like rejection, direction feels like control, silence feels like abandonment. And now the dynamic becomes emotionally unstable. Attachment theory also shows that individuals with insecure attachment styles may seek structure as a way to stabilize themselves externally. This comes from Bowlby in 1988. But external structure cannot replace internal regulation. So what happens? The inner dynamics not from stability, but from need. And need basis something flew in my face, y'all. But need based submission is not sustainable.
Not at
It's
all.
doomed to fail pretty much. You can we talk about the mask often. You can only keep that
Yeah,
mask going so long. Eventually what that
definitely.
person is saying to you, that D type, it's like, who is you talking to? You can't keep it because eventually that emotion is just gonna come out of you because you can't keep it close to your chest all the time.
Exactly. So, do we have anything in the chat?
Let's see here. All right. Nova Rose added, she says, I take a breath and receive. I make sure that I'm listening with reception and not to react. Isn't that the hard part though? Because sometimes as human beings, you hear stuff and internally you're already responding to it. And you saying, nah, that's not true. That's not true, almost to the point that you don't even hear what they're talking about no more. You just heard something that struck a nerve on the inside of you, and now you are ready to defend it to the death. I
Mm-hmm.
had that real bad. Listen, I'm real
Mm-hmm.
sensitive. My house knows it. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
crybaby of the crew. It was a point in
Mm-hmm.
time. You couldn't say much to me and my feelings wouldn't hurt. Like, why is you talking to me like that? I'm trying. But in reality, a lot of what they were saying was accurate. I'm going to defend some of it to the day I die because I ain't that bad. But
Yeah.
there were a lot of valid points made. And because I was so emotional, I wasn't receiving it. I was ready to respond. I was ready to defend. I was ready to negotiate. I was ready to say, well, this is what I really meant. My intentions are always pure, and I am hurt when people don't see that. But emotional regulation is when I hear someone say something that it doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
I probably didn't make them feel good, but now I'm able
Mm-hmm.
not to react to it emotionally, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm defensive. I'm trying to figure it out. I may ask some questions before I say, you know what, you're right, because I need to understand. I'm a Capricorn, but I'm not negating that person's experience, or I'm not
Right.
negating a directive given to me by Sir, because I'm in an emotional space. Because sometimes
Right.
the feedback he gives me, it doesn't feel good. It's not meant to always feel good, because if he had nothing to correct, I'd be the perfect submissive out here.
Yeah.
But it's necessary. It helps my growth. And that's really the nittle biddle. That's what we get down to. That emotional maturity when it's put up against that submission, and if you're really truly ready for that submission, given what's going on. Latif
Definitely.
adds, okay, out the gate, I am not ready for submission. Mr. Mr. Sir said, y'all not setting me up. I'm not saying his name. Mr. Sir said water instead of soda, and I almost cried because I felt like I couldn't drink my apple juice.
Aw. Apple juice
He
got
likes
water in
apple
it.
juice.
That's
He
fucking
does.
funny.
He
I thought
does
this
like
was
apple juice.
alright though.
Apple juice is good as long as it's the
Yeah.
good apple juice. It's not that concentrate stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
If we doing that simply apple or something up there, it's that
That's
you're
good.
getting more apple than you are concentrate. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like
More
fruit.
water
You
than
drinking
juice.
fruit. Right. Drink your juice.
Yeah. Oh, Nova Rose said, my faith speaks before me.
Same here.
Listen, as a mentor, Nova, I'm working on it. So we're not going to talk about that in the sidelines because that's still something I battle with. But yeah, sometimes, and that's again, we're not perfect. It's again a show of emotional regulation because most people think that it's just about regulating how you feel on the inside. It's regulating how it transmits on the outside because sometimes that's what gets you in trouble. You didn't
Absolutely.
cry, but your face said something. And oh, who said apple juice is bathroom juice? Sugar?
Sugar.
What? My heart is hurt. I love apple juice. That's like my favorite juice in the entire world.
Good evening. Let me explain it. Okay, so good evening. Hey y'all. As
Hey.
Hey,
y'all can
sugar.
tell, I'm on a heating pad right now. Something
Aw.
going on with my hip, got me limping a little bit. But now the reason why I said apple juice is bathroom juice, I don't know. If I drink straight apple juice, it don't matter what kind, it's simply apple or whatever. If I drink it straight, like not even gulp it, if I just sip it and I don't chase it with no water, that's a wrap. I'm going straight to the bathroom.
But
I
it's a
don't know
wrap.
whether it's my bowels. I don't know whether it's because I'm also on my gyro for my diabetes. But if and no and when I first got diagnosed and I was on metformin, oh no God, everybody sent me to the bathroom. They breathing great. Send me straight to the bathroom. Metformin is the devil. But I can't do the bathroom juice. The only juice I can drink and it don't bother me is grape juice. And I have to limit that because I have the diet of a 5-year-old with no adult supervision, which is crazy because I'm diabetic. So I make sure that there are at least 2 to 3 cases of water in my house. I drink a 10-ounce bottle of water when I take my blood pressure med in the morning, and I drink a 10-ounce bottle of water when I take my rosuvastatin at night before I go to bed, which means I piss all night. And then on top of that, I have 3 breaks on my work. I have 2 15s and a 30. Each one of them 15s, I drink 10 ounces of water, and I try to drink 10 more on my lunch break. But did anything else? No, it's the devil. No, it's the many tools of the devil.
Okay,
Sugar,
you
you
make
a
a lot of
mess.
sense now, and we gonna leave it at that, Sugar, because we are all old enough in here to know that we understand what she's talking about when she's talking about apple juice. We gonna leave it there because we are ladies and gents. We are respectable. Because it's still delicious though. It's still worth it. But also in the chat because we going off down the juice tangent like we did with stickers last week. Let's get back together. Um, Crystal Phoenix I find it hard to keep my emotions in line. I get that, Crystal. What helped me is intentionally taking a moment. Whatever that moment needs to look like 60 seconds, 30 seconds, 5 minutes. I'm going to take whatever this time is, depending on the intensity of the emotion. Sometimes you may have to take an hour and come back. You may have to take a day and come back, but you come back. You stop yourself in that moment. I don't know what I'm going to say. It may be the right thing, it may not, but right now I'm feeling emotional. So let me pause, take a step back, collect ourselves, and then come back to it. So that's what's helped me. Like even actively, where you at in your room? I'm processing. I just need a second. Sometimes it's literally a second. Just breathe. All right. But just taking that moment, that step before you react, because a lot of times that first thing that comes out of our mouth is emotions. It's what we're feeling. It's how we emotionally or mentally, physically responded to something that we heard. You take a moment and you let that subside. Now we're kind of thinking logically, like, okay, that felt sucky, but were they right? Did I really call it my little bald head helper? I might have. But it's just
That's
like
a
that. So it's
mama.
perfectly okay. Um, oh, okay, Nova, like lemonade, pineapple, or mango juice.
All right.
And then
Good,
Crystal
good.
came right back and said, "No, you can't cut off my energy drinks." Yes, Crystal, we
Yeah.
gotta, we gotta, we gotta cut off the energy drinks. We don't need no
No.
more energy. We don't need no artificial energy. We just you know what? You dial it back gradually. You know, we go from that full can to maybe a half can. Then we taking a shot. Then we just getting a little taste. Okay. The dogs were getting rather aggressive next to each other. But
Oh Lord.
that is all we have in the chat, Summer.
That's it. All righty. Let's go ahead and keep it rolling. Keep this train moving. So, case study number 2, correction sensitivity loop. A submissive receives correction and immediately shifts emotionally. They over apologize, become anxious, seek reassurance. This creates a loop where correction turns into emotional repair instead of behavioral adjustment. This aligns with research on emotional reactivity in Leinen 1993, or Linehan maybe, where individuals struggle to regulate emotional responses to perceived criticism. So I'm going to go ahead and lead this part of the chat. Does anyone in the chat want to come off mute or raise your hand? Do you all adjust your behavior after correction, or do you adjust your emotions first? So just kind of going back to what Sheba said, when you're corrected, do you take a moment to process, internalize, or yeah, or do you just go ahead and say, this is it? I can tell you what I used to do. Because
Uh-oh.
I'm a
I've
Sag and I am unhinged at times, and I just say it and yeah, get corrected later.
I've only had one Dom, and it after everything that I'm learning now, it wasn't a good fit. Um, but
So
whenever he quote unquote corrected me,
Mhm.
I always internalized it. I would
Mhm.
go silent
Yeah.
if it was really bad, or if I felt it was really bad, I would go to tears and I would shut down. I would
Um,
put it in the back of my mind though, so that I didn't do it again.
yeah.
But it always hurt. It never felt like it was corrective action. It always felt like he was verbally punishing me.
So
So,
do you?
being
Oh,
honest
go
with
ahead.
myself, I do not know how to regulate my emotions.
Mhm.
Don't
Do you
know.
think?
I'm learning
Do
though.
you? Yeah.
Hmm?
Do you think, Latif? Do you think it kind of bordered on like being emotionally abused? Was it
No,
teetering or?
I won't put it that far. What I will put is that he was not educated or experienced, and neither was I.
Okay. Yeah.
But even
Well,
in regular vanilla life, I have to do everything perfect because I just don't want someone to say I did something wrong. So I became very good at my job. The whole mother thing, the whole being a hostess, everything had to be perfect.
yeah.
So, but I'm learning. I have to regulate my emotions and not take everything as a personal attack when I do something that's not right.
Yeah, and that can be hard. That can definitely be hard. But definitely you learn from that first experience with that dominance. So going forward, since you're doing the self work, that's always important to do the self work. Now you know going forward with your next dom, um, to not you want to process what you're being corrected on, and not really internalize it because it's there to evolve and grow you. It's to enhance and make your service better for your dominant or domac. So definitely you had that experience and but you will grow from it. You're growing from it because you're working on yourself. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you. We do have a few responses in the chat. They're coming out on this question. I told y'all we have some good ones lined up.
Uh-huh.
Timothy N adds, in the beginning, my Dom was concerned about my lack of emotion. Timothy, that happens sometimes too. Sometimes you don't want to be vulnerable, so you hold it all
Mm-hmm.
in, and you feel it really strongly on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens in reverse. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're putting it all out there, and the emotions are just flooding out, and sometimes the lack of emotional, release. It's another form of emotional regulation. You're just not letting anything out. So it happens on both sides.
Yeah.
With Latricia adds, as a former crash out, I take a moment to self-assess and then come together to come up with a game plan to avoid in the future. Absolutely amazing. Carla adds, I take a moment for sure because he's usually right, whether I can see it initially or later on. And that is the one. It's delayed. Sometimes you hear it, it's like, and then you realize, like, yeah, he right. He right.
Yeah.
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 But regulation allows you to not respond in the moment and say, no, you're not. You take a moment, you take a step. Stephanie says the same thing. I regulate my emotions first and then make the correction. Yeah. And
Definitely.
Chance, hi Chance. I saw
Hey,
your
Jen.
name when it first popped up. Hey girl,
You're
hey.
smiling.
Listen, it's been a minute.
It has been. I'm glad you're back in the chats. Welcome home, Chance.
It has since I see her face pop up on that Zoom.
I know when she messaged me, I was smiling like, oh my gosh, she wants to come back.
Yeah. Okay. But let me read what she said. She says, I know for me, I take a moment to process. I need to be able to reflect on what's being told to me and the why behind it. That why. That,
Yeah.
yep. Yep. I hear you. Crystal Phoenix adds, I try to check my emotions and then the corrections, but it was never enough. And I'm a new sub, and I had two dimes that wasn't the best, where I was punished first without tallying and talking about it. I'm thinking that's
Mm.
talking about it. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes. Sometimes it's the blind leading the blind. Sometimes you make a connection with someone outside of the lifestyle, and it doesn't necessarily translate to how they show up within the lifestyle. So it happens, but as long as you're learning from it and you're taking notes and you're figuring what you always want to do walking away from a situation is walk away with something new about yourself. What did I learn? Whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. Do I not respond the best to certain situations, or do I respond best when I'm in service mode? So as long as you're taking something away from it, it's okay because you're new. No one is going to penalize you for not getting it right when you're still learning. And that's why we have this. So you can figure it out, and maybe we could just show you some things you weren't thinking about. So that is
Mhm.
A-okay. And then we have Queen A Bubbles. She says, I am an emotional, sensitive person already. So being corrected at times, I can get emotional, but I have learned to take a lot of steps back to process what actually happened and what was said. And on top of menopause symptoms, which I'm certain suck, babe, she tends to shut down, cry, and just can't regulate, but I'm working on it. Some health unbalance has a lot to do with it, but instant correction helps me to regulate. And as long as you guys are figuring it out together, you're changing, you're growing, and I'm certain he's growing and changing. He has to adjust right with you because you're becoming someone different right now. So as long as you guys are working with each other, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And hey, Miss Nova Rose, being prior military, she adds, I was taught to internalize and process later, but now I name the emotion, and depending on the discussion, I'll ask if we can bookmark it because I need time to process what was said so I don't speak from an emotional space, but a logical space instead. Pretty much everybody, we on the same page.
Yeah.
Wherever you are in your journey, you're either learning it, you've learned it, you're applying it, or you're applying it and taking the next step. So all that feedback was good feedback, and I hope y'all got
That
something from the
was.
other people that responded. Before we
Yeah.
move on, okay, there we go. I was just about to ask. There we go, Sugar. I see you. Sugar adds, I too am emotional. Constructive criticism makes me cry, but I have gotten better. I am sensitive, and I'm working with that too. The dime that was vetting me used to feel so bad when I would cry over the smallest stuff. Look, I can definitely relate. And at some point, he's like, "You crying again?" Yeah, but I really mean it this time. But then I have to remember, you said you meant it the last 15 times too. So, um, I'm right there with you, sugar. Let's see here.
Yeah.
So we have all the chats, I think. So let's go ahead and move forward. Of course, guys, we'll open it up for a Q&A towards the end. So if you think of something and it jumps out at you and you don't exit now, you can always preserve it for the end. But now let's go talk about disguise readiness. This is where it gets subtle. Submission readiness can look like I'm willing to learn, I'm open to structure, but willingness is not stability. Because if emotional regulation is not present, the structure will become a stressor and not a support. It's essentially saying, I'm a solid foundation, boss. You can build on top of me. And then boss start laying these bricks on your back and you realize there's some cracks in your foundation. Or it's not completely set. You had worked on it, you had made the corrections, but you didn't allow that concrete to harden, and now you're putting stuff on it. Eventually that structure is going to break you or break that submissive you're presenting because you weren't quite ready for it. It's saying I can lift 180 but we still at 90. So that's essentially what's going here. It feels ready. A lot of us have said it. I've said it. I walked into this dynamic saying I'm ready and it
Yeah.
wasn't. So it's nothing wrong if that happens, but sometimes it does happen when we're not emotionally regulated enough for what comes next.
Yeah, definitely. Have anything else in the chat, babe?
Let's double check. All right, Queen added, I do think we forget that we are human first and to give ourselves grace. Absolutely. And
Yeah,
especially in this
definitely.
lifestyle where there's so much structure and
Yeah,
protocol, and your house has rules and the community has rules and the events
yeah,
have rules, but we're still people. That D type is still a person. So
yeah,
even though they may say something that rocks your boat, remember, you're still responding to a human being. And for the D types, that's still an S type. I know we're soft in our description, or, submission seems soft, but sometimes that person really is emotional. So just take into consideration those things. Sometimes people are just emotional beings. And it's not that they're traumatized, they just feel deeply. So we're human and grace is to be given, but boundaries have to be protected also, because
definitely.
sometimes that emotional dysregulation can cause instability in someone else's life, and that's not fair to them. Uh, yeah, I rocked the boat. I can listen. This one hits home for me, y'all. It hits home for me. So yeah, I relate to it a lot. And definitely relate to what Queen said. But I think that was all in the chat.
All righty. So we're going to go ahead and go to case study number 3, emotional dependence on leadership. A submissive relies on the dominant for emotional regulation. When interaction is high, they feel stable. When interaction drops, anxiety increases, insecurity rises, behavior becomes inconsistent. This reflects emotional dependency rather than structured submission. According to Herman in 1992, dependency forms when individuals rely on external systems to regulate internal states.
It was deep, y'all. And of course, we don't expect y'all to remember all of our case studies. We're going to put in all our references and citations at the end.
Definitely, I got you.
Definitely going to make sure you guys can follow up because you may see something else in that passage that you relate to. But we're kind of getting to the halfway point, you guys. We're about 7:30, so we're doing good in time here. We don't want to keep you guys forever tonight.
We
So now
are.
we're going to pass it back over to the beautiful Miss Serenity. We're going to do a nice mid-session reset, and then we'll get back to it.
Okay, let's go ahead and do another deep breath here for a reset. Inhale and clench your jaw, relax your shoulders, and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Okay.
Cool. And I see everybody doing it. So I'm really glad that you guys are
Mhm.
enjoying the grounding, because sometimes conversations get heavy, or sometimes you just feel a lot of stuff that is heavy. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying our nice, soothing resets and our grounding sessions for Miss Serenity. But without further ado, we're going to get back into it. Now we're going to talk about what emotional maturity looks like. Let's define it clearly. I want to make sure that everybody walks away with a clear idea on it. Emotional maturity in a dynamic looks like receiving correction without collapse. That's meaning we're not falling apart when we're giving correction. Processing emotion without projecting it. That means, yeah, I'm upset, but I'm not being angry or lashing out at others because I'm feeling a less than savory emotion. Maintaining stability during silence or distance. Just because you're quiet doesn't mean you fall apart, or just because they're quiet doesn't mean you have to fall apart. Taking accountability without defensiveness. That one, I feel. Because so often we want to tell people, like, yeah, I know this hurt your feelings, but I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. You know, sometimes you have to be willing to take that accountability without feeling the need to defend yourself. I feel like the accountability speaks bigger for me than the defensiveness would, because they're seeing that I'm acknowledging that feeling. And that acknowledgement shows care, whether we realize it or not. That accountability shows care and consideration. The lack of it, however, is what really shows that, okay, I hurt your feelings. I don't really care about it. Because all I want to talk about is that I didn't mean it. I wasn't trying to do that. So that defensiveness over accountability definitely occurs when there's lack of uh, a lack of emotional maturity in a dynamic. But here's the key: emotional maturity creates capacity to hold structure, process feedback, maintain consistency. According to Siegel in 2012, emotional integration allows individuals to remain stable even under stress, increasing relational resilience. So instead of reacting, they respond. Instead of collapsing, they adjust. And this is where submission becomes sustainable, because now the structure is being held by someone who can regulate themselves, not someone who needs regulation. That's the
Okay.
sweet spot, y'all.
That is definitely the sweet spot. We have anything in the chat?
Let's go ahead and look. Nothing in the chat. Did anybody, was anything resonate for anybody?
No, some yes.
What was that, sir?
Daddy remixing.
Oh yeah, you're echoing, sir. I thought it was just me.
Oh no, he remixed
But
it.
what he said was that it looks like Miss Sanga might want to add something to that. That's what I thought I heard.
She was smiling. Got her.
That's all.
Sheba, thank you for being the interpreter.
You're welcome, God.
Not, this conversation this evening, I'm not going to even use textbook. I'm going to use personal. My father was a very important person in my life. For those of you that don't know, I come from poly parents. My father's been in a lifestyle all my life. And what he said to me, emotions is a natural thing. That's your starting. Submission is something you grow and learn. So to marry emotions with submission takes time. You have to learn the person's emotional response. If you are in a partnership or a relationship or even in a dynamic, it's your job to learn the person that's emotional. It is your job to help them on the level that they can receive growth for submission. I was taught as a submissive, I became a submissive at 13. And my father, some people will find this unsettling, but I appreciate everything he taught me because it let me know that I can still have my emotions, but I know how to place it with being a submissive and to submitting to what's being said to me. Perfect example.
My Dom can say something to me that I could receive it very emotional to the point that it could be a trauma or an anxiety, or it just could be one word that I heard and didn't hear anything else he said. That's the natural instinct. The learned education of submitting, write that word down and still continue to listen to what the Dom is telling you, or have a mental thought and put that word aside and still hear what he's saying to you. Be respectful. Once he's finished, just simply ask, with all respect, may I speak? I would like to share something with you. You still have your emotion on the sideline, but you're exercising, learning the submission. So, with that being said, he has your ear. He wants to hear what you want to share. That particular subject that you said to me, my dear sir, I didn't quite receive it well. Can you explain it to me where I can grow and work on what you think that needs to be corrected? Did you hear the verbiage? But you have to be in a mental control of understanding oneself, emotions, and not be so quick to react. Not so much internalize, but just put it aside a little bit to hear what else is being said from your Dom, to have a conversation of peace. Because that exercise of you learning to control when to speak and when to share. They always say the submissive is a softer side, but we are the stronger because we have to balance the act of oneself and one pleasing of the Dom. So I'm asking all of the submissives to don't disregard your emotion. Just find a relationship with your emotion in submitting. Don't be so quick to take offense to what's being said or asked of you. Let him finish or let her finish. And what of that one word or what portion of that conversation that raised your eyebrow? Hold on to it until they finish sharing what they want with you. And then just so kindly, because we are very, very entertaining when we are being kind and giving ourselves, because we are the gifts, baby. Let's make that clear. So when we gift and we ask, I have something to share with you that didn't come across too well. Well, then your Dom and your Dommy know that not only your emotions and you're submitting, you're growing. So it's like growing into an adulthood in this lifestyle. I would have to say it that way. I'm telling this story on the level of in this group versus how my father taught me how to deal with my emotions and being in a submitted position. That's what I had to share.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
One thing about Singer, whenever you go to her for a comment, she ready. Definitely ready.
Thank you, sis.
Y'all don't be paying attention to her. I be looking at her. She be looking, nodding, and writing down on her little
Yeah,
pad.
I do, because everything that's being shared is important.
Yeah.
And the feedback that we get is important. So I'm learning with the group. We all are learning. No one is the master of this lifestyle. And
Right.
Not at all.
it's okay to not know. But guess what? There's somebody knows what you don't know and will share with you to make you better in the know. That part.
Very true.
Period.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that, Singer. Good job. I appreciate that.
Thank you. And of course, the chats are definitely are just sending you love, singer. We got it coming from Queen, Sugar, Chance,
Oh,
Latricia, Nova, Polk County.
yeah. That's what we got
Oh,
around
Nova asks,
here.
I admire when singer speaks.
Whole
Yeah.
county? So wait, the whole county was
I,
saying
I
that?
I thought I read that wrong, and then I read it again because I skipped over it and came back
The
to it.
whole county. What up, though?
What up, Joe? He said we represent the whole county. Wearing the whole county on my back. I got you. I ain't mad at it.
Yeah,
The
I know that's right.
the whole county.
Oh, yeah. Thanka is our special gift, our treat for you all. So now y'all got to keep tuning in every Tuesday.
She'll be back.
Yes, we
As
got the
long as
beautiful
she'll have us, we'll have her.
Coco. She ain't talked yet, but I see you in here. Hey,
I
Queen.
see you.
Uh-huh. We are working with Coco on cooking something up good early next month.
Ooh,
It
they're
is
gonna
very
love it.
exciting.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, Coco. Hey, Coco.
Sis, I love when she speaks. It's so calming, isn't it? Though.
Oh, it is. It's like pay attention. She grabs you and just you pay attention to what she says. I love it.
Yeah, definitely that.
You definitely listen. All right, but I got all of our comments in the chat for you, Summer.
All right, babe. Thank you. So we're gonna
You
go
welcome.
ahead and I'm the case study queen. So case study 4 is stable emotional processing. A submissive receives correction, pauses, processes, and adjusts. There is no emotional escalation, no talking back, no dependency on reassurance. Behavior changes without destabilization. They're still present. They're not going quiet. This reflects emotional regulation and internal stability. So you can be corrected, it's received, it's processed, internalized, and it's acted upon. Which is when you've evolved and you're a big girl or big boy submissive. That's what you strive to be. I consider that the sweet spot when it's just straightforward and you've received it and you processed it, acknowledged it, corrected, which is the most important, and you're on the mission, you're continuing. So, Shiva, you want to go ahead and go to the chat? Does anyone have anything to cue in about my case study on how they is anyone there yet besides Sanga? I'm playing, sis.
Listen, we all working on it.
I'm a
That's why
work,
we get Miss
yeah,
Singer in here to guide us, hold our hand.
yes. Yeah. God and Daddy
All
still
right.
working on me every
All
day.
right. So to the chat, what would change in your dynamic if your emotions didn't control your reactions? So if
Ooh.
our emotions wasn't a factor and we had our big boy and big girl draws on all the time, what would your dynamic look like? I can tell
Um,
you what Sir would say ours look like. It'd be a lot quiet with me.
look, yeah,
I would be a
peaceful.
superhero.
Yeah,
Nova said boring.
yeah. He might be like, "What's going on?" He was like, "My Spidey." He sometimes says, "My Spidey senses are tingling." I'm like, "That ain't nothing going on." Like, really, what he senses, there's nothing going on. So I'm just like, "Yeah, probably that. A lot of that talk." He be
Coco said
worried
he'd
for
be
sure. Yes,
worried.
Coco. Yeah.
Nova said chaos. But Queen, I saw you, baby. Queen has a question.
Hey
Yes, ma'am.
everybody. Hey you
Hey,
guys.
girl.
Good
Hey.
evening. I have a question for the vets that are on there because I know sometimes there's a lot of newbies on the Zooms. So for the vets, how do you give advice to a little or a middle that stays emotional? Um, Sometimes us little middles, we can't regulate, control, help ourselves with our emotions. So, what advice would you guys give a newbie that has recognized as a little to help them regulate themselves if they don't have a D type, or in the vetting process of a D type that really doesn't may know how to handle a little middle?
Hmm, that is a good one.
That is a good one.
Without a D type, what does my little look like? She has a lot of quiet time. Uh, my little tends to get emotional from a place of being overwhelmed. So taking time away, and you can even reflect in a way that is comforting to your little. It doesn't look the same for adults as it does for those that are in age regression as far as they handle emotions. So you kind of reflect back to when you were younger. Sometimes, you're feeling really unhappy, you're really sad, you heard something that didn't settle well. Sometimes I go lay in the room and I go cuddle my stuffy. I have a weighted stuffy. I can put it on my chest. It's soothing. For another little, it may be coloring, or it may be listening to, some of your favorite little songs, that music that gets you going. So for a little, I feel like it requires you kind of really drawn in from what makes you a little in the first place. Because when you're in little space, you're not processing. And a lot of people don't realize it, but when you're in little space or middle space, you're not really processing from the adult lens in your brain. We are adults, but when I regress to being my toddler self, I'm not as rational as adult Sheba is. Baby Sheba, toddler Sheba, she's gonna act out. Sometimes surgeons have to allow her to tire herself out. And sometimes a nap, queen. Little baby need a nap. Go lay down, take a little nap. It's dependent on the little. It's dependent on the middle, on what helps you. For me, I'm not a big colorer. But I love my stuffies. I love just laying under them. I may play a puzzle game on my phone. So that's for me. And sometimes I just gotta go lay next to him and be a baby. Um, so it just really depends. That's what I'm going to end it with. It's dependent on the little. But it should reflect who you are as a little or a middle, as far as how you process it. And also, you need to take time in a adult space to figure out what drives your little, what drives your middle. Why do they exist? Because for all of us, it's different. I wasn't allowed to be a kid growing up. I was babysitting. I was helping younger siblings with homework. I went from being a kid to being an adult, and then I had to go back and figure out all the stuff I missed because I wasn't allowed to indulge in it. So for me, it's a safe space. It's a space where I felt like I wasn't allowed to be safe, and I'm now in a situation with my D type where I feel vulnerable being a kid. I didn't when I was a kid. So that's for me. So figure out what it is for you and figure out what would give that kid peace. And I promise emotional regulation as a little or middle should get easier.
May I
Mhm.
speak?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm a switch, and I'm going to use this as an example. My submissive at one time in my early years was a middle. I had to mentally, there's three personalities in one body. Sheba, you were perfect right there. There's a point in your mental processing that you were childlike. Then you became a teenager. Then you became an adult. And like you said, there are some young people that skip being a young person and went straight to adulthood and then go back and visit. So, with that being said, based on the newbie, the little or the middle, you need to find out how they process and deliver themselves their understanding. For an example, with my mate some years ago, she would go and pout and lay in the bed and be quiet. So I had to go back to mental thinking as a younger person and played with her. I would lay in the bed and play games with her to calm her. So sometimes even the Dom and the Dommies have to go back to help them. You have to go to their level of understanding. That reassure them that they can trust you. That reassure them that you're understanding where they are. They know who they're communicating with at that time. You can hear in the voice of your submissive on, are you talking to a little? Are they growing from a little to a middle? Or are they teeter-tottering being an adult? Their personality will tell you what age you're communicating with. And as a Dom and a Domie, speaking for myself, I learned how to communicate with her to reassure her. I was allowing her to be herself. So, with that being said, with our newbies who are littles and middles, you should be yourself, but make sure when you vet your Dom, they need to be able to visit their childlike, to communicate and understand where you are in your processing. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes. And I think we have one more response for you, Queen, coming from Copa. You got your hand raised, babe?
Hey, this isn't actually Copa. This is Biggin. How you doing?
Good and you, sir?
Hi, sir.
Hi. Okay, so I wanted to, okay, in response to what she said, because she wants to know as a newbie age regressor, how can she regulate? And I wanted to speak directly to that, because sometimes you have to be careful, especially as a newbie coming in. If you're new to age regression, it can become kind of a barricade to you. There's some people that will literally they will literally go into age regression and forget about regular life. They'll find themselves into this kind of like place of I don't want to do regular adulting stuff, so I'm just not, and I'm going to just be little or be middle and not worry about what the world's got to say. Or they'll carry it all the time, and not know how exactly to switch it off. So you have to be careful with that, especially if you don't have a caretaker or a dominant, because you'll get lost in the sauce. So what I would say is first you do, just like Sheba said, you have to figure out where it stems from. Why are you doing it? What is your need for needing to run into this space to do it? And how can I also make sure I don't just continue to make it a barrier for myself, but also start to work on the traumas that caused the issue? Um, if you're not working towards healing yourself, people forget that BDSM is not just about the sex. It's also about the the emotional support that you can get, the healing that you can get from it. It's got to be more than just I just want to put a binky in my mouth and and forget the world. You have to be a little bit more than that. So even when you get a dominant, that is still something that you should be able to work on. You need to be able to work on how you get into your age play and knowing how to come back out of it. That's it.
Thank you so
Yay.
much,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Glad to get a, a perspective from the other side of the slash. We appreciate that.
Definitely. We need more D types on these Zooms.
I know, right? But
Yeah.
the ones that come through, they always hold us down. So
I'm always
definitely thank
here.
y'all.
I'm always
Uh,
here. As long as Coco is on, then I'm on too. So I'm right
yay.
there.
Keep coming back,
Yay.
Coco. Keep coming back, Coco.
Oh,
Let's see in the chat. I'm just going to kind of go through the chat. So, because we are getting, it's 8 o'clock. So Let's see here. For this question, Polk County added, I would be more fun if I could control, regulate my emotions better. That's honest.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Chance adds, I don't care. I don't know if I'm a vet, but I'm also a little without a dynamic. She tends to hide, get shy, and doesn't aid regress much, but it has to also be a switch for when the big girl must be in control. In little space, I'm four, and that's it. Like Sheba said, a nap or putting myself in a safe space where I color, paint, or hold a stuffy. My little allows me to be the child I was told I couldn't be. So there's another perspective, and it's definitely a valid perspective, Chance. We've talked, so I definitely get it. You know, sometimes it's a safe space, and the more of the story is to figure out why you're in that space, whether it's little, middle, or just a purely emotional space. Self reflection, it goes it goes very far in this lifestyle because it helps you grow in it. It's not just to get beat on or any of that. It's definitely to help us grow and to kind of face stuff, and we're allowed to be open in an environment where in our vanilla lives we may not necessarily be getting that. Okay, so let me see here. Can you explain what a little in the middle is? So in kink, there is something called age regression. And age regression, you can hit various stages. So a little is when you regress to that of a prepubescent adolescent. So typically little single digits, pretty much like let's say, you know, like 11, you know, not necessarily tweens. I think they have their own little section for that tween age, but like 10 and younger. Middle regression, let's do tweens. Tweens is kind of like a, if it's an age very few people regress to, but it's like 12, 13. You're kind of a kid, you're kind of wanting to be a teenager, you're kind of stuck in the middle. Y'all, some of y'all, a lot of y'all got kids, y'all know what that tween stage looks like. So that's why it's a very real thing in the lifestyle. And then you have middles. Middles are typically after tween age, those individuals that identify as more teenage years. So you're not looking at someone that necessarily likes bows and stuffies and binkies, but they're like a true teen. They rebel, you know, they like to fight back. It's not necessarily a brat, because teenagers still will get sad and they realize at some point, okay, I've pushed it too far. So if that helps, Tony, it was just the age regression. It shows up differently in different people. Some make it a part of like sexual play for them, and some of them it's more so like therapeutic release of that emotional buildup in a healthy, contained manner. Let's see here.
Great answer, babe. You did good.
Thank you. Listen,
She looked like she got something to say.
go ahead then. Speak your truth.
You talking about singer?
Latricia.
Oh,
Latricia, and
Patricia.
also before you go, Latricia, I just want to add Queen is one of the admins over our little chat. She also just added a really detailed breakdown of the various stages of age play in the chat. So you guys can also copy and paste that and take it with you.
I I I was saying I think I misunderstood
The question Queen asked,
what the little middle was.
a middle. I'm gonna read you exactly what
No,
Queen
no, no,
says.
no. I was saying the where I was asked where I had
Oh no, she froze.
before the
Oh.
middle conversation.
Oh, you
I
know
am a
what?
middle. I am a middle. So yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what? I know what you're talking about. She's talking about the original prompt. What would change in your dynamic if your emotions didn't control your reactions?
Well, I'm interested in hearing from another middle. So I mean, if you could kind of give us an idea of
So
what yeah.
for me, I'm still exploring some of the little portion of it. I would definitely put myself solidly in the middle. And I have no problem saying part of the reason for me I don't do the little stuff behind it and trauma from my own childhood. So for me, I don't go to little space, but I definitely go to middle. And again, that comes from I didn't have a childhood, teenagehood. And then I got married when I was 17, and that wasn't exactly healthy. I wasn't, and then I was adopted. I was between size and other things. I couldn't express what I liked. It being joyful over dolls or the sparkly things. It always was seen differently, partly because for my age, I was bigger than the other people in our church family and our act more or act older. And really not feeling like I got the childhood was part of it. The other portion has been currently being with somebody where there's a safe enough space sometimes to be like, I'm not processing well. I'm not doing well. I really just want to walk down the stuffed animal aisle and squeal and for a few moments just not have to worry about what's for dinner, how to
Oh, she keeps freezing.
still know
Yeah.
there's the responsibilities, but being able to have that safe space. And it's been very healing for me to just, and if it's just sit with my coloring book and color, if it's to sit on the Hello Kitty website and design a pair of Chuck shoes that I might not necessarily get, but I got to design these pretty pink shoes with Hello Kitty all over them. So to
Oh,
have that space to reclaim something that I didn't get before. And then also now I have adult money, so I can buy some of those sparkly things that I didn't get to have before.
yeah. Oh,
So
thank
I appreciate
you.
it. That's a good look in. Even though your signal was going in and out, but we got the basic idea of what you were trying to say. And yeah, thank you for that. Because I notice some people on here right now that's like, what are we talking about? What's a minute? What's happening?
May I
So
speak?
yeah,
Because
sure.
I'm a little middle, so I do both.
Um,
My middle is rebellious. That's where my brat submissive comes from. She's rebellious. She talks back, but she's a rebel too. She's a punk rock, all black lipstick, black everything, something that I was told I could not do or be. And my middle is that bad black bitch, that bitch that nobody told me I had permission to be. But now that I am an adult, I can be that bad black gothy bitch that I wanted to be. And so that middle person, she comes out, she's vibrant, she's bubbly, she's obnoxious, sometimes she's loud, but it's controlled because my little is shy sometimes, she squeals, and so that those parts of me, they balance me, so that's why I'm both. I'm not just a little, I'm a little middle. And I learned that I was a middle probably 2 years ago, but first coming in BDSM, I knew I was a little from the beginning. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm missing, that's what I am. I just didn't have a name. And then when the middle came up, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm black. Yeah, that's me. And my brat stems from that middle.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I wonder, I was going to ask you one day, like when you made the brat, somebody made a brat post. I think it may have been you. Like, what age is your brat?
And see,
I
for
bet.
me, a lot of my things are not regression. It just goes off my emotions and
Yeah.
how I actually feel.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm in my little space, I don't feel like a little kid. I literally feel like an adult that wants to explore all of these great things that I did when I was a child. I want to go get on the swing as an adult because that makes me feel good, but it also brings back great childhood memories of me being a kid, but I'm actually an adult doing it. So the
Yeah,
same
that's
thing with
how I
the
feel.
middle. Yeah, with the middle, because I can be a little bratty, but my brat is controlled, my middle can be a little spunky and funky and obnoxious. And it doesn't stem disrespectful because it's like, oh shit, she being a brat too. So it all kind of goes together without an age for me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. All right, honey. You ready to hit him with your next case study?
Case study cinco. So, false readiness. A submissive believes they are ready because they are willing, consistent, and eager. But under stress, they become reactive. They require reassurance. They struggle with emotional regulation, which we've covered tonight. This creates instability over time. According to Finkel, Simpson, and Eastwick in 2017, a relationship stability depends on emotional regulation and self control, not just intention or willingness. Additionally, Baumeister in 2007 highlight that self-regulation is a limited resource. Without strong internal regulation systems, individuals cannot sustain consistent behavior under pressure. That's very important. So what you're seeing is not readiness, you're seeing potential. Without capacity and potential, without regulation, does not sustain structure. That is a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely is. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to ask yourself, we're going to always do this self vetting at the end of our zones, just so give you a moment of self reflection. So ask yourself, guys, do I regulate my emotions or do I expect structure to regulate me? Do I process correction or am I simply reacting to it? And lastly, am I stable or just willing? Because there's a difference. We a lot of times you
Definitely.
want something, you want that family, you want that job, you want that soda, you want a lot of stuff. But are you
Sinker
willing?
laughing. You want a soda
Li-
sinker?
Listen, it sounds really good. My bad.
Yeah.
So you always have to ask yourself, am I stable or am I willing? Just self-reflection really is a lot of the guesswork in regulating yourself emotionally. Just
It
asking
really
those
does.
questions. Just self-reflection. And sometimes it's as simple as, how does this make me feel?
Yeah.
Is this upsetting me? Is this making me sad? Because sometimes we react to stuff and we don't know why, and we don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily know what's driving the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So always make sure wherever you are in your dynamic, whatever stage, that you're constantly self vetting, you're constantly reassessing, you're constantly touching base with yourself, because that's a big thing in regulation. A lot of times people are just emotionally off the rails because they don't
Yep.
sit with themselves. They're not asking themselves questions. They're not self-reflecting. They're just like, I feel like he died, and then it calms down, it goes away, and then we do it again. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely self-vet. But now we're going to shift that pattern. It's not about being perfect. I don't want anyone to walk away feeling like, you know, it's taken away from who you are as a submissive. We are all in our different stages, and
Yeah.
even with the seniority that some of us do have, we're still learning. We're still making mistakes. We're still growing. We're still healing. So it's not about being stable, because submission does not fix emotional. It is about being stable. It's not about being perfect, because it doesn't fix emotional instability. So you can't be perfect, but we gotta at least be standing flat on our own 2 feet. It requires that emotional maturity to function in a dynamic. So it's really necessary.
Definitely. So we're going to go to the chat one last time. So I'm going to ask this final question to you all. What would you need to develop to become emotionally stable, not just willing? And anyone can come off chat or raise your hand, or if you prefer not to talk, you can go ahead and type it in the chat, and the lovely Sheba will read it.
Let's see. I actually have some stuff coming up in the chat already. Queen adds, sometimes things need and can be a little chaotic before regulation can come at times. Adulting
Yeah,
sucks. It does, Queen. It
it
really
does.
does. I have to touch base a lot. Like a kid playing baseball for the first time, just running all over the place. Latricia adds, self accountability and willingness to listen and learn. Definitely,
Ooh, that's
definitely.
a good one. Yeah,
See
that's a
here.
word. That's a word. Thank
Crystal
you.
added, that just opened up something new for me, and I definitely feel that way sometimes. I don't know which one it was, Crystal, but I'm glad that something is resonating with you in this conversation tonight. That's what we go for. We want you to walk away thinking. You may not have all the answers, but we hope to provide at least a starting point, some
Yeah,
clarity, because sometimes that's all that's necessary to get you to the next stage in your growth journey. Kofa adds, I feel I need to walk away from my control to be the hero. Oh, I understand that one, Kofa. And that's your journey as a vet. Like I told y'all, we all have our own different journeys. So that is definitely understandable and is understood. Polk County added support.
Yeah.
Definitely support. That's what we're here for, Polk. That's why you got us. You got all of Polk County, and now you got all of BBE support.
You
Um,
definitely do.
Queen adds again, self grace when life is hard, that I don't have to be perfect and to not compare myself to other submissives. That is the one.
Definitely.
None of
Yeah.
us are running the same race. We may
Yeah.
show up to the same venue, we may have the same running shoes on, but none of us are running the same race. We're in our own journey.
Absolutely. In your
So
own
never
lane.
feel like what you say, Summer?
I said in your own lane.
Listen, right now the only person you're running against is you. You have to be happy with what you look at in the mirror. And as long as you're aligning with yourself in a healthy manner, you're going to attract somebody that resonates with that. Anybody else is just, it's, they just in the way. Let's see here. All Poke Honey Heart. Crystal Phoenix added better emotional stability and the little middle and looking more into me and support on my submission. Well, you got us. You got
Yeah,
chats. You got
definitely.
a group of about 13,000 people that are learning, have learned, or are exactly where you are. So always utilize us and come to the chat,
Yeah.
come to the group.
Yeah. Crystal, definitely you're free to DM me Summer Night and I can add you one of the hosts of the S type chat with along with the beautiful Sheba. And come on in. We've been having a good time. We got some stuff coming up. You want to jump on board now? But
Yes,
no,
and
seriously, we're always
also
here. Yeah.
we also have some other admins and moderators in this Zoom right now that
We
oversee
do.
our Kink Talk chat. Our we have a little chat for those that are a little bit more sexually charged with their age regression play. We got a naughty little chat,
Yes.
pet play. So there is a community. There's a space for everybody here, and we are really good for creating spaces. If there is not a chat or space for a group of people, we will
There
create
will
it. Like
be.
we go to Sir. That's actually how most of our chats have started. We've just gone to Sir with feedback from you guys in the book chat. We got a book
Yeah,
club.
we have book club chat.
So definitely if you feel like you there's other ways that we can show support or other ways that you want to be a part of the community, a lot of
Yeah.
our team came to us just because this was somewhere that resonated for them, whether it be the little chat or the pet play chat. It resonated with them and they were able to go in and help cultivate that space for you guys. So it is there. Inbox. I'm Sheba Night. You got Summer Night. Feel free to inbox us and we are happy to add you to any chat. Or at least tell us what you're looking for and we can help point you in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, let's see here. The Queen adds, love the book club chat as well, the little chat and the submissive chat.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We try to cover our bases, and even if you're local to the area or in DFW, we also have chats. We're getting ready to host some munches in the near future. So if you are down to come and mingle with us in person, those
Yeah.
chats are open as well. So for Central Texas, Austin, Killeen, this area, we got a chat for you guys.
Yeah.
DFW, we got a chat for you guys. We are also already looked at a venue in DFW. Really lit. Sir's actually planning to go back soon to iron out some details. So definitely that. And I think
Gonna
Houston
be
is going to
dope.
be coming down the pipeline too. So even those
Sanga.
chats. So
H-Town, that's Sanga. The H-Town, that's Sanga. We coming.
yeah,
We
we
got we
coming.
coming.
So we trying to take it offline too, y'all. So eventually we want to be able to create a space where you guys can congregate with each other because this is what it's for. We don't want to just have a community and family. We want you guys to feel like you have that as well.
Come on.
And with all I've said, with all of that out the way, if this conversation is shifting something for you and you want real tools and structured development, Listen, I'm already down the hole of shameless plugs. So let's go ahead and throw Triskelions Academy into the mix. TriskelionsAcademy.com. We have plenty of material. Sir, it's actually in the process of working on more material, more approaches for learning because we all don't learn the same. So trying some different formats. Sir will be able to present you guys with some of that coming in the near future. But with that said, before we cut it off and we wrap up for the night, we are going to swing over to my girl, Summer. Dun, 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 dun.
Thank you. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and bring in the lovely singer again to provide a clinical perspective on emotional regulation and relational dynamics. Thank you. You got it, sis.
So, with that being said, emotional and submission. Like I said, we all are naturally emotional. Be gentle with yourself and grow into your submission. Be kind to yourself and welcome that. That is a mental and a physical exercise that's challenging, but you can be the best you when you submit. When you are under the protection of safety of your Dom, that makes you more powerful. So when you take a look at yourself when you're transitioning from something you're not sure about that's been said to you, don't take it personal. Take a deep breath. Make a note. Have a conversation with your Dom. They are your safety. They are your protectors. They are the ones to help you to make you better. And if they're not doing that, then that is a red flag. So, with that being said, live in your emotion, but exercise your submission. Have a good evening.
Yes. Thank you so
Woo!
much, sis.
Thank
Drop
you
it
so
down.
much. Alrighty, now that we've gotten Singer's final words on the matter, me and Summer are going to provide you ours. You know, we always got them.
Yes. So, our final words for tonight, and thank you all so much for coming out. We enjoy seeing all of your beautiful faces on Tuesday. Definitely have some big things in store for the summer and every Tuesday. So, make sure to come back in, tune in every Tuesday, bring a friend and a friend and a friend, bring your dominant too, because we need some on. So, my summer final words: willingness opens the door, stability keeps you in the room.
Oh,
Again, willingness opens the door. Stability keeps you in the room.
that's deep. That's deep. And I'm
That's
just going to
deep.
add on to that, you guys. Emotional maturity is what makes submission sustainable.
Definitely. Definitely.
That's
That's
how
where the
we
work
that's how we
comes.
get into this thing for the long haul because it can be testing
Definitely.
on your emotions with all that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's a daily work.
Alrighty. And before
Y'all
we
know
close,
what time
guys,
it is.
I am going to pass it over to Sir for
Y'all
something
know
insightful
what
or
it
at
is.
the very least a dad joke.
Come on,
Y'all know
Daddy. Look, he's shaking his
what time it
shoulder. Do the
is.
shimmy.
Y'all know what time it is.
We know.
Y'all been waiting all night for this, huh?
A little bit.
Yeah.
We also may have told him you had stickers you were gonna pass out at the end of this.
Right.
That's
Can't
funny.
wait to get mine.
Yeah. But I'm glad everybody here is in the BDSM because my humor is pure punishment. Punishment,
Daddy.
punishment, pun. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you call a vegan who's in the BDSM? Biodegradable.
Daddy, you
Come on.
took my joke? I think so.
Come on. Come on. Y'all know that
That's
was funny.
funny
I
though.
know y'all
Either
know
way, rerun or not, that's funny.
Look, they're in the chat now.
that one's funny.
That one is funny.
Really quickly, sir. We have someone that inboxed me that messaged me on here. They're
Hmm.
interested in getting more information about being a dom in kink, and they wanted to be pointed in the right direction.
Okay. Yeah, just you can shoot me an inbox and just let me know that you were the one that was looking for the information, and I'll open it up tonight and get back with you. We'll chop it up briefly. Yeah, no problem.
And his name on Facebook is the same as his name on the Zoom. I'm not going to say it out loud because you're not going to set me up again.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In the chat, there's a couple of people who want to join the book club, and I was gonna say I'm having trouble finding some of y'all. So, if you want, you can just DM me, Stephanie Meeks Lachey, separate, and I can add you in the book chat.
Yeah, and she gonna add you right away too. You're gonna be in the book chat in the next 30 seconds.
Stephanie
Listen,
on
I
point.
heard it's a
Yep.
good book on the flow for him right now, y'all.
Oh, you gotta download it, baby. It's good. I got it. It's good.
Look, I've been in training, but inbox it to me. I'll try. I'm gonna
Okay.
send me the title.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
All right, y'all. So good night. Thank y'all for coming through.
Bye,
wanna-
y'all.
so thank you to Serenity for getting us right and getting our breathing right so we can intake all this good information. Thank you, Sasanga, for putting out such great information and always coming through with a word, because we all know when you get going, like, hey, I'm glad I'm recording because we're gonna make some clips out of that. Thank you, Summer and Sheba. Y'all always do a great job. I really appreciate all the hard work y'all put into this. If y'all don't know, like, this isn't a quick thing. There's a lot of hard work that goes into this behind the scenes, and everybody's always doing their part. They're always helping because we truly believe that we're stronger together. That's why when you hear me say Fortiores Una, that's what it means, stronger together. I truly believe that in my heart. So when I say it, I would love it if you knew that I really, truly meant it. That's what we're doing here. We're building an ecosystem where we all thrive. Fortiores Una. Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye, y'all. Good night.